Okay, so we are finally at the last stage for reverse engineering, which is to do a structural analysis. At this point that we actually start taking the pieces that you've selected apart to analyze the individual components that make that up. I have a lot of tools in the back that you can use to do that. The activity that goes along with this process is 6.4 and it's in the LMS. Make sure that you're using the alternate activity for this because we're not using the automate blocks, you're using your own piece. So what we need to do based on the procedure is to create sketches as necessary to communicate the internal operation of your product. So I want a drawing then of each of the pieces within your project. Now those drawings don't necessarily have to be multi-views or a specific type of drawing. It's whatever information that you will need to then create the drawings when we get to Inventor. So if it makes sense to you, it works for me. Those drawings need to include measurements. So we're going to use dowel calipers to measure all of the components of your part, and we'll add those measurements onto the sketches as well. You're also going to add this information to a product disassembly chart. Now we'll pull that up so you can see what that looks like. Within the product disassembly chart, I'd like you to include information like the product number, so 1 through however many parts that you have, what you're naming this piece, the quantity, like if it's a screw, it's possible that there's more than one of those. When it says dimensions, I'm interested only in the overall dimensions within this chart. Obviously, you're going to be taking a lot of dimensions for the pieces. You can't fit them all in here. So the overall height, width, and depth will be sufficient for this. What this part's function is, so you determine what the function within the overall product. A material that it's made out of, and I have a chart to show you that you can do a best guess. You can disregard the density, mass, or weight, and texture, and then interaction with other parts, meaning it connects to this, or it holds together with this, or it functions in conjunction with this, and then any other notes that you want to include as well. The materials that I was talking about is on a separate Word document. This will help you try to determine the type of material that this piece is made out of, so it goes into the different types of metals, ceramics, plastics, and it talks about the common items that are made out of that. So we can make a best guess based on what we find within this chart. There are conclusion questions at the end of this activity. Scroll down to the bottom of this, there are 6 conclusion questions. I want you to turn those in along with the product disassembly chart and your sketches on the LMS. I'm going to give you this week to work on that before we move over to Inventor and start modeling these pieces.